Good morning, students. Today we will start with lesson number 5, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. This is related to genetics, and in this we are going to learn the Mendel's laws of inheritance. Now, what is inheritance? Inheritance is the process by which characters are passed on from parent to progeny. So, whatever traits or characters we are having, we get it from our parents, and that process is called as inheritance. Now, all the siblings of the parents are not the same. Your siblings, though the parents are the same, the siblings have different characteristics, variations are seen. Now, these variations is the degree by which progeny differ from their parents. That means you have certain characteristics similar to your parents, but not exactly the copy of your parent. And your siblings, your brothers and sisters, they are also similar to you in much of the characteristics, but not exact copies. So there are variations, and this degree of variation in the progeny is because of the meiosis which occurs during gamete formation. So this is the important point to understand, that variations are there in the progeny. Gregor Mendel conducted hybridization experiments on garden pea plant. Scientist Gregor Mendel, he did the study how the characteristics are transferred from parent to offsprings, and for that he chose garden pea plant, and he did hybridization experiments on these garden pea plants. He proposed the laws of inheritance in living organisms. With his experiments on the garden pea plant, he came to certain conclusions, and these conclusions are nothing but the Mendel's laws of inheritance. Mendel succeeded because of the following points. There were many scientists who were trying to find out how the characteristics are transferred from parent to progeny. But Mendel succeeded. This is because he applied statistical analysis and mathematical logic to problems in biology. Though he was working with the biological entities like garden pea plant, he was knowing about the statistics and mathematics. He was good at both these subjects, and he applied his knowledge of statistical analysis and mathematical logic when he was doing these experiments on the garden pea plant. In garden pea plant, characters were expressed as two opposite traits. Here, the meaning of the word trait, we are going to use this scientific term quite often. The meaning of the word trait means character. The one which is observed, like black color of the hair in human beings, this is a trait. This allowed him to set up basic framework of rules governing inheritance. His success is not only because of his statistical analysis or mathematical logic, but also the plant which he has chosen for his experiments, the garden pea plant, because it expresses the two opposite traits very clearly, and he made use of that knowledge or that characters of pea plant for his experiments for inheritance. Mendel used true breeding pea lines for his experiments. Now, the meaning of the true breeding line means when a plant undergoes continuous self-pollination, it shows a stable trait inheritance and expression of for several generations. Like suppose the pea plant which we are talking about now for the Mendel's experiment, it is a tall plant and it is having purple colored flowers. Now, for many generations, the same characteristics will be shown by the plants. And if it is this way seen, the same characteristics carried forward by many generations of the plant, then we can say that that is a true breeding line because it shows the characteristic as a stable trait, like the tallness or the height of the plant is much more, that it is tall, and the purple color of the flowers, it is seen for many generations, so it becomes a stable trait inheritance and expression of that trait. So this becomes the true breeding line. Now, for that, he understood or he selected 14 true breeding pea plant varieties. Now, here in the chart, it is shown that what are these 14 true breeding varieties or the characteristics. The first one is a flower color. He found that certain pea plants, they have purple flowers and the others have white colored flowers. Now these two are contrasting characters or opposite traits. You can easily identify purple color and white color. The second characteristic or the trait is height of the plant. Two different characters or traits. One was tall and the other was dwarf or short. The third characteristic was seed color. He found that in certain plants the color of the seed is yellow and in certain the color of the seed is green. The seed shape round or wrinkled. Pod color green, yellow. Pod shape inflated and constricted. And flower position axial flower and terminal flower. So in all these 14 characters or traits, he found that these are true breeding varieties and he selected these 14 true breeding pea plant varieties for his experiment. Now let us see what his experiment was. He did monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross means inheritance of one gene. He started studying the inheritance, that is the transfer of characteristic of one particular character or trait from parent to the progeny. So that is why as only one gene inheritance is studied in this cross, this is called as monohybrid cross. For this, Mendel crossed tall and dwarf pea plant. He selected one tall pea plant and one dwarf pea plant. He collected seeds produced by this cross and grew them to generate first hybrid generation called as filial progeny or F1. Now, in this, the steps are shown. This is the pea flower. Now, this flower is bisexual flower. So, self-pollination is quite possible in this. But Mendel did not want this self-pollination. So, he first removed the anthers from the pea plant. Before the anthers dehisce or open up and release the pollen grains, he removed those anthers from the flowers, and this is called as emasculation. Now this symbol is for female parent and this another symbol is for the male parent. So from the female parent, he did not want this stamens over there, so he removed the stamen. Now there is no chance of self-pollination and only the cross-pollination will be occurring when he will transfer the pollen grains from this male parent, this flower. These pollen grains will be produced in this. Those pollen grains will be transferred to the stigma of this female flower. So that is why this is a cross. It is hybrid. If it occurs as a self-pollination, you cannot call it as a hybrid. But as purposely the pollen grains from one particular flower are transferred to the stigma of this other female flower, then that is called as, that is why it is a hybridization experiment. Now, after that, when this fertilization will occur in this plant will produce the seeds, and he collected the seeds, and these seeds, from that he grew the plants, and this is the F1 generation. This generation is called as P generation or parent. So the P generation is one tall plant and one dwarf plant. Now this is tall plant, dwarf plant, and in this the seeds of their cross are collected. The seeds are grown into the plants, and he observed that all these F1 generation plants all were tall. Note the point that in his experiment he has taken one plant as a tall and the other plant dwarf. But in the first generation, which is called as F1 generation, all the plants were tall, none of them was dwarf. So he was surprised that none of the plant was dwarf. Further, he carried out the experiment in that he allowed self-pollination of the F1 generation. In F1 generation, as we have seen, all plants are tall. So, now this is the second step. Here in this diagram also, the first parental generation, this is one tall, one dwarf plant, and through their cross, you get tall plants. This is F1 generation. Now, the next part of the experiment is this F1 generation plants, he allowed self-pollination in these plants. That means the pollen grains from the same flower will cause the fertilization of the ovules of in the flower. So, because of that, then the seeds which are produced will give rise to the second filial generation, which is called as F2 generation. Surprisingly, he found that in F2 generation, the plants all were not tall, but some plants were dwarf. And he found that the ratio is 3:1 ratio, where the tall is to dwarf ratio. So, in this, the on self-pollinating tall pea plants of F1 generation, he got, here this is F1 generation, self-pollination, and he got tall as well as dwarf plants. But no offspring was of the medium height or the in between height, tall or dwarf, medium height. So this shows that there is no blending of the traits. Both the traits, that is tallness and dwarfness, they are not mixing. Otherwise, we would have got here the medium height plants, but such character mixing of the traits is not observed in F2 generation, but the tall plants which he got were more in number, about 3/4 plants were tall and only 1/4 plants were dwarf. So this is all about the monohybrid cross. So first of all, monohybrid cross, this is called as because in his experiment, Mendel studied inheritance of only one character. He chose one tall and one dwarf plants which are totally contrasting characters. Then the cross was done. For that, the emasculation was done in the female flowers, and the pollen grains from the male flower were transferred to the female flower, and the seeds which were generated after this cross, they gave rise to F1 generation, in which all were tall. Then the self-pollination of these F1 plants gave the second generation plants, those are F2 plants. They, in that 3/4 plants were tall and only 1/4 plants ratio in 1/4 were dwarf. Now, in this, the next explanation or conclusion. Conclusion was that something was being stably passed down, unchanged, from parents to offspring through gametes over successive generations. Mendel proposed that there is some factor. He called it as a factor. He was not sure what is that something, so he called it as factor. But some factor is passed down without any change from parents to offsprings, and this transfer has been done through gametes. During meiosis, when the gametes are produced by the male and the female parents, through these gametes, these factors are passed on to the offsprings, and during this transfer, these factors remain unchanged. And this process occurs for successive generations, over successive generations. So now, whatever he called as factors, nowadays we call them as genes. And these genes are the units of inheritance. That means now we know that the basic unit of inheritance are the genes. Now the genes which code for a pair of contrasting traits are known as alleles. Alleles are slightly different forms of the same gene. Alphabetical symbols for the traits can be written as by using capital and small letters from the alphabets. Capital T is used to denote the tall trait or character, and lowercase or small t is used for dwarf trait. Capital T and the small t are alleles of each other because they are slightly different from each other, but they are the same genes controlling two different characteristics. So, a true breeding tall plant will have both capital T. Now, we are writing it here one alphabet two times. This is because the plant is diploid. That means it has the two sets of chromosomes. So that is why we have to write it that for tall plant, we have true breeding tall plant, we have to write capital T two times, and true breeding dwarf plant will be shown by small t, which is repeated two times. Now, as here both the forms of the genes are the same, that is why they are homozygous. Capital T, another is also capital T, similar, so homozygous. And the other dwarf plant is showing by both small t. But if you see F1 generation tall plants, it has one capital T and one small t. And that is why it is called as heterozygous, because both are not the same. So in this, capital T and small t, they are the alleles of each other. Three genotypes can be seen. Capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, both will be tall, and small t will be dwarf. Now, tall and dwarf will be phenotypes. One more term we are going to see, that is dominant and recessive. In a pair of dissimilar factors, one dominates the other and is called dominant, while the other remains unexpressed and is called recessive. Now, let us go back to the earlier slide. In this, you can see that it is mentioned here, capital T, this is the genotype, this is homozygous, you can say both are for tallness. Here, dwarf plant is having the genotype small t, small t. Now, this is the diploid state. When the gametes are formed during meiosis, when the gametes are formed, each gamete will have only one particular set of chromosome, because gametes are haploid, they are not diploid. So, only one set of chromosome. That is why in the gametes we are showing capital T only one time. Here the plant is diploid. That is why we are showing it two times. Capital T genotype. When the gametes are produced by such pure breeding tall plant, the gametes will contain the allele capital T, whereas the dwarf plant, its gametes will have only one small t. The fusion of these gametes will give the combination capital T and small t. Now, this capital T and small t, this will also show the tall plant. We have seen in F1 generation, all the plants were tall. This is because this capital T is dominant over the small t. So, small t, this is called as recessive. So, here the genotype, all the plants are having one capital and one small, that is genotype of all the plants will be capital T, small t. And phenotype, that is phenotype means the character which is expressed, which is seen outwardly, that is what is phenotype. So this phenotype, all plants are tall. Now in F2 generation, it is seen that this plant will produce the gametes. As this plant is heterozygous, as earlier we have seen, because here one capital and one small t is there, both are not same. So this F1 generation plants, they are heterozygous tall plants. These are tall plants, but they are not homozygous. This tall plant is homozygous. F1 generation tall plants are heterozygous. Now, when this plant will produce gametes, it will produce two types of gametes. One gamete will have capital T, the other gamete will have small t. So, the same way the other parent also will have two different types of gamete. One will have capital T, other will have small t. Now, if you see the combination of all these, this capital T, they are written on this side, and these two types are written on this side. So, we get these four different combinations. When this and this forms a zygote, you get both capital T in one organism, that becomes homozygous tall. Then secondly, one capital T and the other small t, it gives you heterozygous tall plant. Here again another heterozygous tall plant. These two are heterozygous tall plants. One is homozygous tall plant and one combination will be dwarf plant. This gamete fuses with this gamete from the other parent and gives the combination genotype, both small t. So here the genotypes in F2 generation we get both capital T is to capital T small t. This is another genotype, and the third genotype is both small t. And you get it in the ratio 1 is to 2 is to 1. 1 capital T. Two plants are having capital T small t and only one plant is dwarf. So here the phenotypic ratio is tall is to dwarf, that is 3 tall plants is to dwarf plant, because you cannot identify whether the genotype is capital T or both capital T or one capital and one small t, but the observable character is tallness. And why these plants will show tallness? This is because in this 2 out of 2 alleles, one is dominant. When both are dissimilar in such combination, when one dominant one is present, this suppresses the expression of the recessive one. So in this case, capital T is the dominant one and the small t is the recessive one. So with this, all these monohybrid cross, the genotype and phenotype, the ratio, genotypic ratio is 1:2:1, that is capital T both, one capital T small t heterozygous tall and one dwarf plant. And the phenotypic ratio, that is tall is to dwarf, is 3:1. So with this we have completed the monohybrid cross with its all the terms which are there, and in next video we will see the dihybrid cross. Thank you.